morning, Flosstube. This is Katrina, the Crafty Cataloger, coming back to you for my October 2018 update. Today is November 1st. I don't know where October went. I don't know about you, but for me it went really super fast, kind of crazy fast. If you have been to visit with me before, I welcome you back, and I would like to thank everyone who subscribed and who wrote such kind comments on my first video. I honestly believed that there would be 3 people who would watch that first video, and those were the 3 people that I told that I had made it. I figured they would watch it and they would subscribe out of the goodness of their hearts, but I didn't think anybody else would watch. So I am floored and just flabbergasted that so many people have subscribed and have sent me such kind comments, and I really appreciate that. So today being November 1st, yesterday was Halloween. If you are a celebrator of Halloween, I hope you had a good one. I generally am not. I just don't like Halloween all that much. Honestly, I could live without it. I don't know, it just doesn't do anything for me, I guess. But I think I mentioned before that I work 4 10-hour days, and Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday I work 6 a.m. to 4:30, but on Wednesday I have to work late because I close. And since I was the closing librarian last night and would be on the reference desk, I felt like I had to dress up. So I did, and I will try to insert a picture here of myself dressed up, and hopefully everyone will see right away that I was Mary Poppins, practically perfect in every way. So, and now that I dressed up as Mary Poppins, I have this urge to watch the movie, so I may have to do that this weekend if I have time. Anyway, down to business. Let's start out with cross stitch today. Like I said, October went extremely fast, and I feel like I didn't do hardly anything. I did, I know I did, but I really don't feel like I did. This month's Haid focus would have been Mini Village Bookstore, which I did show last time, and I put so few stitches in that I'm not even going to show it today. Kind of depressing how few stitches I put in it, but I guess it is what it is. The first weekend of the month we were camping, the second weekend of the month was homecoming at my alma mater, so we went to that, and then I think I had to work the next day, and then the other couple of weekends I just was busy doing stuff. So not going to show that because I really put very few stitches in it. I also worked on Every Bird Welcome a tiny bit. That one is a sale that I'm participating in with Taryn over at TV Designs. I'm not going to show it also because I put so little work into it this month. I think mostly what I did was back stitching, to be honest. I did finish the Jane Austen sampler that I showed you last time, and I'm quite pleased with how this turned out. Let's see how close I can get it. It's a cute little piece. It is very small. I need to find a frame, and I did look at Joann's this week, and my Joann's does not have a very good frame selection. It's like one very small aisle. They had nothing in the oval shape at all. And I did look at a thrift store. I might try another thrift store I know of. And if not, I might have to try to find my way to a Hobby Lobby or a Michael's next time I'm in a larger city to see if I can find. I just want a small oval frame for that one to finish that off. And then I also finished, which I told you I thought I would, Village Holidays? Village Holiday, I think it was called. Can I get it straight? It looks very crooked. Whoa. Maybe like this. And I love this. I just like this piece a lot. And I finished it off. Not sure I'm 100% pleased with how I finished it, but I just put some fabric on a board, and then this right here is some leftover fabric from a quilt I made, and I just it's literally just a strip. It doesn't go very far under there. I just kind of made it a little bit of a frame, and then I put this on some basically sticky board type stuff, and I put a loop at the top with that same, it's this same fabric that's framing it. And I look forward to being able to put this one on the wall with our Christmas decorations in less than a month. Oh. The other thing that I did this month was I finished this. This is Lizzie Kate's Selfie Sampler. I stitched this summer, and now that I finished it and now that I've shown it, I am going to take this and hang it in my office at work. It says, "Dear self, today I will shine." And I just thought it was kind of a cute little thing. Again, just sprayed the tacky spray and put some fabric. This is like a blue grunge fabric on the board, and then put this on a board and then glued it on there, and then just found some ribbon, string stuff that was in my paper crafting collection and made a little hanger. And since my office is really a cubicle, the walls are fabric, so I have to hang stuff with like a straight pin, so that should work very well for that. So even though I don't feel like I stitched a whole lot, I did finish some stuff, and so that felt really good. My plans going forward for the next month for cross stitching will be to work on mini Deer Creek. Sorry, for a second there, I forgot the name. That will be what I focus on for my Hade this next month, and I would like to try to work on Glory of Autumn, which I didn't touch at all in October. And I started something new, something that you've all seen. Not a big start, as you can see. Just a few stitches. And my Grinch needle minder that I purchased in honor of my husband, who says the Grinch is his hero. We even have his license plate, says the Grinch. And he's a band director, so his band plays the theme from the Grinch movie like every year because he loves the Grinch. He secretly likes Christmas, he just doesn't like to admit it. So what's going on there is this, and it's twin. It's other one. These are from this year's Just Cross Stitch Christmas ornament issue, and I know several people have been doing that particular ornament, and I'm actually hoping to do 2 of each, and there's enough fabric there. It's all scrunched into the grime guard, but there's enough fabric there to do 2 of each, and I already have it mapped out on the fabric because I'm going to a conference. I leave on Sunday, and I'm going to take that with me. I think I can work on that during some of the sessions. Sometimes I listen better if I'm doing something. My mind doesn't wander. That's kind of weird, isn't it? Anyway, I'm going to take that to work on. So I have it all mapped out, and I have safety pins in the spots where the center of each one of the ornaments needs to be, so that I know right where to start and have enough space to still finish them off. My intent is to give one of each of those to the 2 girls that are in my department at work as Christmas gifts. And I wanted to show you, I know a lot of people have seen these Bitsy Bobs that you can purchase from Kelly at that's So Kelly Co. And yes, that's So Kelly Co. on Etsy. She's part of the Joan and Kelly show. And I wanted to show you what I've done with mine. I've kind of turned it into a mini project bag, to be honest. Danielle Stitcherista, I think, showed how she added Velcro to this spot, and I agree. I added Velcro because stuff was constantly falling out of this little pocket. So I added some Velcro, and I can keep, you know, scissors and a highlighter, pencil, and some extra needles and thread heaven and all that good stuff in that pocket and stuff doesn't fall out. And then what I did was I put 2 safety pins right there and then used the jump rings, and I can put the floss for the project, floss bags right there, and then I can just close it right up and take this, and it's basically a project bag. All I need for that is right here, so when I'm taking this to the sessions I'm not lugging around a lot of extra paraphernalia. I have just this and the actual fabric that I'm stitching on, and I have what I need. So for a smaller project, that's working really well. But I do love this Bitsy Bob. It's really cute. I love the print on it. I'm not sure if you can tell what it is, but it's just little sewing motifs. It's very, very cute. What kind of word is that? And then I'm going to show you what I bought this month. I bought this bag at Joann's. It was kind of an impulse buy, to be honest. But the day I bought it, I don't know if the bag was on sale, but it might have been. It wasn't very expensive. It was like $14.99 for this bag, and it's a nice lined bag, zipper top, and some nice handles on it. But the day or the week that I was there and I bought it, you had your choice. You bought the bag, then you could get either a free Notions bag or a box of hand lotion or something. I don't know. It had several different bottles of lotion in it. I have a real hard time using most of that kind of stuff because it smells so strongly, and so I went for the Notions bag. But what I have noticed already or figured out is that this 8x8 Q-snap fits in there perfectly, and I think I can fit that Bitsy Bob in here also, and so I'll be able to just take this right with me to the sessions, and it'll be easy to carry around. And then this bag, I'm going to put all my crafty stuff that I'm taking on this trip with me in here. Right now I have my sweater, or not my sweater, my blanket that I'm working on in here, and I'll show you that in just a bit. But it's a nice big bag, so it holds a lot of stuff. So, Christmas ornaments, Mini Deer Creek, and Glory of Autumn are my 3 focuses for November. Let's hope I get more done in November than I did in October, because I did not get much done. So now let's move on to quilting. Didn't get as much done here as I would have liked. I did though make some progress on the cubbyhole quilt. I think I showed you last week that I had 1 row, and now I have 4 rows sewn together. Unfortunately, the 4th row has a few spots that need some fixing. If any of you out there are quilters and can tell me what the trick is, I would greatly appreciate it. But let me see. So, like, okay, I think that this corner right here is really nicely matched up. I'm going the wrong way. Sorry. Right there. That corner looks pretty darn good to me. This corner, on the other hand, not so much. Why? I had them all pinned before I started sewing. Oh, that frustrates me. And there are 2 or 3 in that row that are like that, that are really far off. I can live with a smidgen. I can't live with that far. Even though this quilt has no design purpose. Like, I don't have, this isn't a gift for anyone. This is purely for myself. I just made it because I thought it was kind of cute. And so, you know, I'm not giving it to anyone. It's just going to be for us to use here at our house. I still don't want it to have big gaps where it's not lined up right. But I will probably fix that row, and then I will probably put it away because I really need to get started on my niece's graduation quilt. My husband is the oldest of 4 boys, and his next youngest brother and his wife have 2 girls. And you'll hear me mention my sister-in-law quite a bit. She is not only my sister-in-law, but one of my best friends. Their oldest daughter graduated from high school 2 years ago, and I made her a quilt as a graduation gift. And so their youngest daughter is graduating from high school this year, and I am making her a quilt. I will insert a picture here of their oldest girl's quilt that I made 2 years ago. And then hopefully next month I will have the beginnings of the next quilt to show you, because I really need to get started on that, because I would like to be able to have it to the quilters February, early March at the latest, so that I have plenty of time once it gets back to put the binding on before her graduation party, which will be in June, probably early June. So putting that away, working on the next niece quilt, and I also, in the area of quilting, it's kind of quilting, I need to make some bowl cozies. These are going to be a Christmas present for my sister-in-law, and I thought I would have one to show you today, but the one I tried to make yesterday just didn't quite turn out. Not sure what I did wrong, but I did something very wrong, so I need to try again. But hopefully next month I will have those finished, because if I have those finished, that means I can have them wrapped and not have to worry about it right before Christmas. So those are my plans for quilting. So moving on now to knitting. As you may see, I finished the shawl and I am wearing it. I don't know if that's going to mess with the lighting, isn't it? I am pleased with how it turned out. I have to admit though that this is a shawl, and I intended right from the beginning to wear it as a cowl scarf thing. The problem is, it's because of the way that it is, it's, you know, this is the end. It really is a shawl shape, and so it's kind of fiddly to get it to look right. I did wear it to work the other day, and I felt like I was fiddling with it all day. Like, it's fiddly to get it to look right, and then I feel like it's fiddly to get it to stay looking right. So, yeah, I was constantly looking in the mirror. I felt like trying to make sure I didn't have any funny ends sticking out. So I don't know. I am pleased with how it turned out. This was my first attempt at something a little more difficult. It did have some things in it that I had never done before. There are mistakes in it. I would have to look pretty hard to find them, and even if I could find them, I'm not showing them to anyone because I don't think anyone will notice. I am happy to have it done though, because I do also plan to take this on my trip and wear it one day at the conference. So, pleased with this finish. I did also make progress on the baby blanket that I'm working on for my coworker. I had shown you this last time, and after I got done filming last time, I did put a progress keeper, a stitch marker right there. So I have done from here to here in the last month. So I feel pretty good about that amount of progress on this blanket. And I hope that I narrowly averted a crisis this last weekend. I don't know what was wrong, but all of a sudden something was not right. And I ended up pulling back several rows to get back to about this point. And that made me extremely nervous. I think I got all the stitches back on the needles, and I'm knitting again. I'm following the pattern. I think that that row is going to look a little rough, kind of from somewhere. Just, I don't know. There are spots that don't look quite right to me, but I'm hoping that no one's going to notice. It'll kind of hide any little problems that I might have caused. You know, ultimately it's a baby blanket. I assume, I hope, I really hope that the person I give this to uses it. I do not want to have done this for nothing. I don't want it to be laying over the back of a chair as decoration. I really want her to use this with the baby. So the baby's gonna throw up on it, they're gonna lay it on the floor, it's gonna get dirty, it's gonna get thrown in the wash. That's good. That's what it's meant for. So I'm hoping that any little imperfections are, you know, not noticed by baby or mom for that matter. But I still really like this pattern. I think it's really not that complicated to knit, but yet it looks kind of complicated, and I like that. I believe I'm about halfway done. I am taking this with me on our road trip. Our conference is in St. Louis, Missouri. I'm not sure if I said that. And we are driving. So we figure it's gonna be a 9 or 10 hour trip by the time we make stops. So I will obviously not be riding the entire time. I will have to do my fair share of driving. But this makes great car knitting, and I will work on this in the car. I also started something new because I finished my shawl. I have this cute little bag, knitting bag. I fully intended to make this, found the pattern, bought all the fabric, did all the things, and took it and was gonna have my mom help me. And then my mom ended up making the whole thing herself. Thanks, Mom. I'm sure she'll never see this, but I'm sure she was able to complete it a lot faster than I would have been able to, because it takes me forever to do that kind of stuff. Anyway, I started a hat. This is going to be a pretty simple hat. It has a ribbed brim, and I'm going to make the brim just short, not a flip up brim. And then after that, it's going to just be kind of a skull cap, but it does have some cabling on it. The intention is to give this to my nephew as a Christmas present. His school colors, he is 8th grade, maybe? I think he's in 8th grade. I should know these things. Anyway, his school colors are red and white, so hence a red hat. I'll get him something else to go with it, but anyway, I have a question for you knitters. How do you keep track of where you are in your pattern? This is what I came up with for the blanket. The blanket is a pretty simple pattern. It has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, basically a 6-row repeat. So what I did was I took it, wrote it out on an index card, and then I hole punched next to each of the rows. I actually shouldn't have hole punched these down here, because this right here is all one row. And then I stick a stitch marker in there, and every time I'm finished with a row, I move the stitch marker so I know what row I'm on. Which is why I'm not sure how I managed to screw it up last weekend and it wasn't right all of a sudden. Does anybody have a better way? I mean, this is working, but a better way of keeping track of where you are in your pattern? My short-term memory, my memory in general, seems to really be bad. And so I really have to have something to keep track of things. And that was what I came up with. But if anybody else has a better option, I would love to hear it. I also covered it with contact paper to kind of like laminate it. I know I look confused right now, but my camera looks like it's only been recording for 4 minutes. And I know that cannot be right. Carry on. So my knitting plans for the coming month will be to finish the hat. I'm actually kind of thinking that I might be able to finish that at the conference. I'm thinking, you know, maybe in the morning sessions I'll take the hat to knit, and the afternoon sessions I'll take the cross stitch to work on. And then there will be time at night in the hotel room. Our hotel, if I'm looking at the map correctly, is about 2 miles away from the arch, so I know one night we are planning on driving down and maybe going up in the arch and walking around that area and seeing what kind of things there are to see down there. I have been to St. Louis before, and I have been up in the arch before, like 30 some years ago. But you know, if you're there, you might as well do it again. I also plan to continue working on the blanket. I would like to start a knit along with Kate from Kate's Crafting Corner that she's doing with someone else, and I think the person's name is Sharon, but I don't remember for sure. I have to yet buy that pattern, but it is also a shawl, and I have to find some yarn. I also really want to start this. I was watching a knitting podcast the other day, and I saw the person wearing this. I think that is just a gorgeous, it's a cowl, but it's designed so that it looks like a shawl, and it's exactly what I want. So I really want to start this, but I need to find some yarn. And there's no yarn store anywhere near me. It's a good hour-and-a-half drive to any yarn store. And I really want to do that one on something like this, a nicer hand-dyed something. So that's kind of next up in my, I really want to start this. If I can find some yarn and get myself going on it. Next up, paper crafting. And I actually have something to show you this month in paper crafting. As I mentioned, I have a niece who graduated from high school 2 years ago. She is a sophomore in college this year. Our oldest child, we have 2 children. Don't know if I've said that before. We have 2 boys. Our oldest is a freshman this year, and our youngest is a sophomore in high school. So for Halloween, I sent both my niece and our son a little box of candy and junk. And I made them each a little card to put in the box. So I will insert a picture of that here. And then I am happy to say that I have my Christmas cards almost done. There are about 30 cards there. They are not entirely finished. They are very close. They are all, let me pull up. They are all basically finished. I mean, you know, that's finished, sentiment stamped inside, my little name thing is stamped on the outside. What's not finished, what's different about that one versus this one, or this one actually, and I'm not sure if you can see the difference, if it's going to show up on camera. This one, I used some stuff called Stickles, which is like a liquid, what do you call that stuff? Glitter. Liquid glitter. I put it on there, and so I just like traced around some of the swirlies in the tree to give it a little bit of sparkle. Yeah, I don't know as that will show up on camera. Like this one doesn't have any of that on there yet. That's the only thing that I have left to do. I have 4 or 5 of them have had this done to them, the stickles. The rest of them have not. The problem is I can only do maybe 5 or 10 at a time, and then I have to leave them sit out and dry. And so I will work on, like I'll do 10 today, and then I'll let them sit, and then I'll do 10 tomorrow. Some of them have this wider, this is actually like a paper ribbon that I had, and then some of them have this ribbon that's just regular ribbon, and it has it's like a gold and white. Pretty happy that I have these almost completely done, and I did cut back. In the past I've been making about 50 cards a year, and I feel guilty that I'm cutting 20 people out of getting a handmade card this year, and I don't know if those 20 people are even going to get a card. But you know, I hate to sound cheap and I hate to sound like a Scrooge, but 50 cards is $25 worth of stamps. It's a lot of money that I could be spending on stitching or Christmas gifts. So I am pleased that I am going to have those finished soon. And that is my plan for November, to finish up those Christmas cards. And I also need to look through my box and be sure that I have all of the birthday cards that I need for the remainder of the year and into January. I know I have my best friend and one of my sisters-in-law has a birthday in November, I'm sorry. My mother-in-law's birthday is in December. And then my brother and a brother-in-law both have birthdays in January, like bam, right after the first of the year. And I always miss those because I get like, oh, I made it through Christmas, but I forgot about birthdays. So I would like to get those all made and in the box, ready to go, so that all I have to do is pull them out and mail them when the time comes. That leads us to my last topic, reading. I am very close to finishing a book called Behind the Scenes by Jen, I think it's Jen Turano or Turano, I'm not sure, Turano. This one is Christian historical fiction. I am probably within an hour of being finished with it. Finished of it? What kind of grammar is that? Anyway, I'm within an hour of being finished with it. It's a cute story. If the author were to hear me say this, I would hope she would not take offense to this, because I mean it in the best way possible. It's kind of fluff, but it's good. I enjoy it. It's nice to just listen to a nice story that, you know, it's just a nice story. It takes place in New York. I would guess 1800s, because the main character, Permelia Griswold is her name. She is a wallflower in society. She, you know, stands behind the ferns at all the balls, and she's the main character. You know, even though I'm not at the end, I already know who she's going to end up with in the end, and that's okay. It's fun. There's a bit of intrigue. There's a murder plot going on. But you know, in the end, I mean, it's kind of like one of those old-fashioned silent movie murder plots, you know, bumbling people. I don't know. I like it. It's a good book so far, and I think I will enjoy it right to the end. And it is the first, I believe, of a 2 or 3 book series, and I plan on listening to the rest of them because they're just fun. And I apologize if you can hear the dog outside barking, you know, in and out, in and out, in and out, all day long. I don't know why he can't make up his mind. He's cute, but kind of annoying sometimes. Anyway, he'll have to wait. I'm almost done. I finished reading, or listening to rather, Eliza Hamilton. That one was also, I also did that as an audiobook. If you are a fan of historical fiction, especially historical fiction based on real people, I think you would really enjoy that book. It is a novel told by Eliza Hamilton, wife of Alexander Hamilton. She starts at the beginning. She's either at his funeral or it's right after his funeral, but then she immediately jumps to when they first met, and then she tells the story of their life together. I will be honest, I knew very little about Alexander Hamilton before I listened to that book, and now I feel like I know quite a bit. And I like those kind of historical fiction novels where it's a really good story and it's a good novel, and you get done and you're like, wow, I just got a history lesson. And it was kind of an enjoyable one. So it was long, though. It was a good 16 plus hours, I believe. But I did enjoy it. And if you are a fan of historical fiction, I think you would enjoy Eliza Hamilton. And that one was by Susan Holloway Scott. And the print book that I read, started and finished, was actually one that someone else here on Flosstube had mentioned they were reading, and so I went and found it. the joys of working in a library. A lot of times you can just go get it while you're at work. It was called the Chilbury Ladies Choir, and it was set during World War II in England, in a small town that is affected directly by the war. It's written in letter format, which I have to admit is not my favorite. I find it hard to keep track of who's who and who's writing to who in those for some reason. But the story was good. It reminded me a great deal of the Guernsey, what is that? The Guernsey, let's see, I have it written down here. The Guernsey Literary Potato Peel Pie Society. The Ladies Chilbury Choir book reminded me a great deal of the Guernsey book. Written in the same style, kind of the same time period, although the Guernsey book takes place after the war, whereas this one takes place during the war. Again, a little bit of intrigue, a little bit of some not so great stuff going on in the background with some of the characters, but in the end everyone seems to come out a little bit better for it, and I enjoyed it. That one is, it wasn't really very old. I want to say it was a 2015 copyright, so it was a good book. Again, if you like books set in historical time periods, you probably would enjoy that. I'm currently reading Good Luck With That by Kristen Higgins. I have to admit it's okay. It's not like I'm like, why am I wasting my time on this? I should just put this down and move on. In fact, it's good enough that the copy I had checked out from the library I work at was due back. And it was a 14-day checkout because it's a newer book. And although I do have the ability to check something out, you know, even though the computer would tell me no, I can override it. Someone else had it on hold, so I didn't want to do that. So I returned it, and I went to the library in the town next door, which I have a library card to because I live. The only reason I have a library card at the library I work at is because I work there. I don't live in the service district for the library I work for. So I actually have a library card for the town that I live in or next door to, and then the town on the other side of us has a library also, and they're part of the same consortium, so I can actually go to either one of those libraries and check out books. So I actually went and got their copy so that I could finish this book. And I'm hoping today and tomorrow I can find some time to finish that book because I just want to finish it. I have another book on hold at work, and I cannot remember the name of it exactly, but it's about Marilla Cuthbert from Anne of Green Gables. It's a novel about her childhood. It's a new book. It just came out in the last month. And I happen to know that it was processed yesterday. So by the time I go to work on Saturday, it should be on the hold shelf waiting for me. And I would kind of like to take that one with me on our road trip for the conference. I know I won't read a whole lot, but I will read a little bit in the hotel room at night. So that, and then I don't know, I may not start another audiobook. If I finish the one I'm listening to right now, I may not start another one until after we come back, because I won't listen to an audiobook obviously while I'm in the car with somebody else, because we'll be gabbing and all that good stuff. So anyway, I have been reading, never reading as much as I would like, but you know, it's always a thing. Craft, read. I can't do both at the same time unless I'm doing an audiobook. But then there's also the listen to an audiobook, watch Flosstube, or watch whatever I'm currently watching on TV, which right now is Gilmore Girls. I don't know where I was when that came out, but I never watched it, and so now I'm like working my way through it. I'm on season 2 and I really enjoy it. It's a fun show. You know, so we all know the problem. There's not enough hours in our day to do all the things that we would like to do. And I also have another hobby, which is not one I'm ever going to cover here, but in the last year or so I have started dabbling in genealogy a bit. Genealogy and trying to like read up on what I should be doing and how I should be doing things, and then I go, oh, I didn't read any of that book and I gotta return it. So anyway, I've babbled on long enough. Again, those of you who came back to visit me a second time, I really appreciate it. Those of you who are just now finding me, I hope you found something in all of this mess that you enjoyed watching, and that maybe you'll want to come back and visit me again sometime in the future. I hope you all have a great November. For those of us here in the United States, Thanksgiving is coming up, so I hope everyone has a wonderful Thanksgiving. I would like to try to do these updates about the beginning of every month if possible. That just kind of lines up with my rotation I have with my hate projects and whatnot. So hopefully we all have a lot of crafting time in the next few weeks, and I will see you in the beginning of December.